turn out into bullies. Are bullies born or are they made?
The research shows that it's usually that they're made, and it's a lot of the dynamics that goes back. It's, I'm feeling all this rage inside. Maybe I want something on social media, and then I want to take it out on someone. And sadly, we can even speak to that ourselves. I'm sure there's no adult who can say they haven't experienced some sort of bullying. We always talk about the importance of understanding that hurt people hurt people. So as we are raising our children, understanding their vulnerabilities in terms of what are they struggling with, being responsive to your child, making sure that your child feels heard when they're saying, listen mom, I'm having a really bad day, sitting down with them and being able to guide them and coach them through their emotional feelings so that they don't go out and show out their rage on the next child.
One of the things I think you might also agree with is that by the time a child is a bully, they would likely have had a couple of incidents that they've got away with, and so that may not be the child who's going to come and volunteer to their parent or caregiver that this is what they've been doing. How do people in their homes spot children who are bullies?
So you have to really be intentional about watching out for the early signs when it comes to your child. So you're going to be looking at their body language usually when they're coming to school. I think the best telling sign is even in the morning when your child is about to go to school. If you notice like a withdrawal, some irritability, cramps, headaches now that are repeated, if you notice that your child's starting to have a little bit of mood swings, you want to be very intentional as a parent to start asking, hey babe, are you okay? Or maybe if your child doesn't really come out with it when you're asking that kind of question, make it intentional to ask them questions like, what was the best part of your day? And be very intentional to almost create a safe space where you can have this trusting situation. If you start noticing that your child is acting different. And our children are very, very, you can easily see when they're struggling. You go fetch a child and their mood in terms of how they come into the car.
I'm going to interrupt you there and say, hold on a minute, I'm going to play devil's advocate if you'll allow me. That perhaps all might apply even to a younger child or a child whose bullying journey is just beginning. The horrors we saw in those videos, are they beyond redemption? Can they still be rescued? Can children like that who are really monsters?
I mean, we want to advocate for a restorative approach because we understand by usually when does the bullying that happens usually coming from a place of pain for the actual perpetrator of some type. So yes, obviously there has to be a discipline, and most schools will have some type of anti-bullying policy. And this is why, as well as parents, we have to be very familiar with this. We need to be able to know that when something like this happens, how do we report, how do we communicate with our teachers, and how do we approach our teachers in a way that it's not necessarily an altercation, but it's a reporting situation where we're working in collaboration with the actual school to address some of these issues.
Hendrik, so I want to bring Hendrik into the conversation now. Hendrik, I mean, Ayanda mentions school policies. Many schools will tell you they've got a code of conduct. Are those things sufficient to prevent the kind of thing we've been seeing in these videos and that we're talking about?
Obviously not, it's one thing to have a policy. It's just like having the law. Even if you have got penalties, that does not necessarily mean people will not commit crime. So yes, policies are there, but police will always be there.
So what do schools do?
I think what we need really, we need a strong collaborative effort between parents and teachers. I can tell you one thing, Bongani. I've been a teacher myself. You get one child at home. This is a very sweet child. The mom and the dad are not even aware.
Yeah.
But at school,
they turn into a monster.
They turn into a monster. So even if parents are not aware, they will continue to think that my child is behaving very well. So there is really a need for parental meetings with their parents with teachers to come and discuss the behavior of the child, the conduct of the child from time to time. And
so in many cases, Hendrik, even from what Ayanda was suggesting earlier, there might not be a parent involved in that kind of, in that child's life. There might not be a parent who, even if they are there, will be able to attend these parent-teacher conferences. At what point should schools say, we will protect the victims, we will center the victims in the conversation and not the bullies who perpetrate these acts?
Well, then, unfortunately, when it comes to children, there is no dustbin for a human being. So in one way or the other, you have to protect both the victim and the perpetrator, because remember, you can't just, even the law does not allow that you expel a child from school. Even if you take out a child from school A, you still have to send them to school B, so that Section 29 of the Constitution of the Republic can be fulfilled, the right to education. So you have to
Surely the right to safety, the right to life trumps that.
Yes, of course. Yes, you protect the innocent victim, but at the same time you need to find a way to deal with mental health issues.
How do you protect the victim who must now sit in the same class with their abuser? Ultimately,
you must have school-based support teams such as your social workers as well as the educational psychologists who can be able to attend to the victim, but also to attend
Hendrik,
to
many schools don't have those resources. We know this.
That is a big cause for concern. That's why government must really work around the clock to ensure that such services are provided, especially in those who are schools which do not have the resources.
Is it fair to say then that ultimately this bullying happens because whatever policies are in place are inadequate to deal with these bullies? There are no resources to deal with the issues in the way that the ideal scenarios on paper are presented. They get away with it. If anybody is being thrown into the dustbin, it's the victims.
Definitely, but if schools can ensure that they implement these bullying policies, I think we can move forward. At times, we find that they leave the issue for too long, and by the time...
That's my point. They don't. Even the elite schools have been caught up in this nonsense. The elite schools, supposedly with the resources, even they can't always get a handle on this kind of thing. How much more under-resourced schools?
Definitely. But we really need, teachers also need training. Remember, some of the teachers have been trained on how to deliver the curriculum, but we also need to train them on how to handle these perpetrators, how to conduct disciplinary hearings and so on. But also the involvement of parents as well, because obviously, if you take a child into a disciplinary hearing, they can't make a statement in the absence of their parents. So parents have to be available.
Hendrik Makanet, I appreciate your time. Education specialist, and I'll let you have the last word on this. It feels to me that everything we have discussed is the ideal scenario. That's what's on paper. The reality feels like something entirely different. Ayanda?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a discrepancy there. So let me just say this, because I have volunteers in SGB in my community. And as part of that, we have a very strict anti-bullying policy, which I'm usually part of in terms of just implementing to make sure that we are protecting, the perpetrators. We are trying to get support to, and this is at a public school, by the way. So most of the opportunities to participate as part of your committees are usually looking for parents to volunteer at the public school. So it's very important just to say to parents that we should actually volunteer at our schools as well, especially the ones that don't have all the resources. But I want to say this to you, Mani. We as parents have a responsibility to make sure that we're always keeping in track in terms of what's happening with our children. And through that process, we need to be always giving them guidance. We need to be understanding emotionally what are the different challenges that they're going through. I want to speak to something that you mentioned in terms of just how...
Right, we've got to wrap it up, and just make your final point. Yeah.
You can't, as a parent, for instance, approach directly a child who's bullying your own child. I'm just making an example. Because then, in that instance, then you're creating more problems in terms of the child. So, understanding the school policy, unfortunately, at this point, this is all we have. If you want to add more to that, volunteers to be part of the committees in the school and be participating in bringing more policies and programs.
All right, and appreciate your time, parenting coach and author. It all sounds lovely. It really, really does. I appreciate the points they're making. I understand codes of conduct, policies, volunteerism, and getting involved and engaging your kids. But that feels very much like the ideal scenario. In reality, are kids who are bullied ultimately on their own? logistics giant opening a new 1.7 billion rand facility in the Western Cape.
Yeah, Mass has officially opened its new bulk and cold storage facility in Cape Town. Mass invested 1.7 billion rand in the new facility, which is expected to support the local exporters and minimize losses due to logistics inefficiencies. Mass South Africa's core storage network now comprises 3 sites integrated with its ocean fleet on nearly 700 vessels serving 130 countries. This year, Mass also announced it would end its direct shipping services between South Africa and the United States. Now, instead of direct routes, Mass will now use a transshipment model, rerouting cargo through European hubs, which will likely result in longer delivery times and higher costs for South African exporters.
All right, where are we in terms of indicators?
Well, the markets were good yesterday on Wednesday. The JC up more than 0.5%. The rand at this hour 17 rand 14 against the US dollar, clawing back some marginal gains there. 19 rand 98 cents against the euro, and you'll need 22 rand 69 cents to get a British pound. Price of gold up close to 1% to $3,962 an ounce, while platinum is up 1.5% at $1,600. Brent crude at $63.98 a barrel. Business Saturday.
Straight to the news desk goes. Mr. Zulu, what you got in this hour?
Thanks, Marty. Good morning. Cape Town winds and storms have been battering the dome tent used as a temporary parliamentary chamber, with the skin over the entrance area now completely ripped open and exposing the interior to the elements. The damage became evident several weeks ago when the roof skins first started lifting. The structure has been unused since the end of March, during which time the Department of Public Works and Parliament have been at loggerheads over the cost involved in buying fixtures to furnish the interior. It's now been decided they will split the 25 million rand bill to repair and furnish it. Lindsay Dentlinker has more.
Erected on a parking lot across the road from Parliament in January, the dome tent was meant to serve as a makeshift chamber until construction of the new parliamentary buildings is completed next year. After a fire razed the National Assembly chamber more than 3 years ago, it cost the Department of Public Works over 6 million rand to transport and erect the dome tent in Cape Town, which was purchased for Nelson Mandela's funeral in 2013. But after being kitted out with rented furniture, lighting and sound equipment in January, it was used for a mere 2 months before it was emptied out and closed. Now, after 7 months of standing empty, the Department of Public Works is faced with repairing the weather damage. Director General Sifiso Madakane says a contractor was appointed on Tuesday and the repairs will start promptly next week.
Among the immediate priorities, we include the repairing of the existing damage to the dome, including the ribs in the current skids.
Madakane says the 25 million rand price tag to acquire permanent movable infrastructure will be split equally with Parliament. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The country's magistrates are calling on President Cyril Ramaphosa to fast-track the review of their salaries. The Judicial Officers Association of South Africa says the President and the Independent Remuneration Commission are the only ones who can make the adjustments, which they say have been delayed by 17 years. The magistrates yesterday demonstrated outside Parliament to highlight salary disparities between them and High Court judges, despite having the same training and qualifications. They say they want the same benefits as judges, such as long life salaries, adequate state medical aid and proper security. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
The country's magistrates have also raised concerns about the workload and vacancies not being filled. Magistrates Danny Lepan says they are constantly under a lot of stress.
We do not have judges, assistants or registrars to help us research our cases or write our cases. At the moment, nationally, our computers are down. We work on our private computers to draft our judgments and we work after hours. I've never yet written a judgment in 35 years at work. I write them at home.
Ntutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
And the city of Cape Town says more than 13,000 vehicles have been tested for high air pollution levels in the last 2 years. Tests are conducted on diesel-fueled vehicles daily by city officials to ensure that the negative effects of emissions are minimized. The Metro says dark smoke emissions from vehicles are in contravention of air quality management bylaws. The city's Community Safety Services and Health MMC Francine Hengman says progress has been made in reducing harmful
The
emissions.
city reminds motorists to please do their bit by ensuring that they maintain their vehicles regularly and make use of fuel with the lowest sulfur content.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 24 and 26 degrees.
And in the traffic, heavy delays on Malibongo Drive. This is in the Sharon Lee area between Venice Drive and the N1. There's also queuing traffic along the N1 South. This is just as you approach the Baklu interchange, coming out of Allendale Road, while traveling on the N3 North. Bump traffic between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange.
The top story: extreme weather in Cape Town has been damaging the dome tent that's used as a temporary parliamentary chamber.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
I don't think particularly that it is wrong for Julius Malema to recuse himself if that's what he's done, but I would have loved for a bit of transparency. What's wrong with Julius saying to the chair of the portfolio committee, Soviet Lahanyani, I will not be available when Shadrach Sibia is being cross-examined because I have a relationship with him, if that's the case. Or, chair, I will not be available when Kasel Matali comes here and testifies and we have to ask him questions because he is like my father and I think I'm going to be in a compromised position. Why do you not say that? Oh man, come on. So what's wrong with saying, I don't think I want to be the one that sits there with Shadrach Sibia or with Kasel Matali because I'm caught in an awkward position.
Clements Manyatela.
9 to 12 on 702.
Smart Steve from Momentum, hello.
How's it, Wood? It's Jason here, your favorite gymfluencer.
Jason, still lifting more than your selfie stick?
Always, Wood. Gotta stay shredded, eh? But like, I'm worried about one thing. What if a major illness hits? Who's got my back?
Relax, Jason. Momentum's critical illness cover is your spotter. It offers the most comprehensive cover in the market.
Woody, I'm signing up faster than I could do 10 reps. But I'm worried about something else, eh?
Let me guess. How many protein shakes it takes before you turn into the incredible bulk?
No, man. Will anyone notice if I skip a leg day?
Chat to your financial advisor about Momentum's critical illness cover. Momentum, protecting your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The all-new Audi A5 has arrived with a panoramic sunroof that changes transparency and a B&O sound system built into the headrest. Every detail makes driving feel like an art form. Visit your Audi dealership, book a test drive, and experience the Audi A5 for 14,499 Rand per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit Audi.co.za for more. T's and C's apply. Brought to you by Audi Financial Services, a division of Volkswagen Financial Services, South Africa Pty Limited, and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Guys, you must know your deal slip is gonna get even longer. That new discount better rewards card gets you 10% off instantly. Hey, but now, on top of that discount, you get an extra 5% off on over 140 brands. You just hand in your script or shop from the pharmacy. With 15% off instantly at the till. Your discount deal slip never looked better. How nice, man.
The G20 Summit coming to Johannesburg is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babiza Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
My name is Yumna Blutas, community activist based in Bertrams. I transform bad spaces in the community into productive vegetable gardens and provide for local soup kitchens, schools, and the needy.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
Josie My Josie's Babiza Bonke champion Yama Yumna will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast by Gugum Hlungu just after 9 on Saturday morning.
What's up from Ghani on 072
702
Hello, Bonks, and hello to 72 listeners. This is Mo. The most irritating thing for me is people that don't turn on their lights when visibility is poor. When it starts to rain and comes dark, you need to then turn on your lights. And it's safe to drive with your lights on at most times. It is very safe so that people can see you. So that's the most irritating thing for me. And those that hit hazards and also still stay on the fast lane rather than say, well, I hit my hazards and be on a slower lane, and let those that can drive through the rain go past me. Thank you. Have a good one.
We're talking about good behavior as motorists, but we're also dealing with this issue of bullying. And as I said earlier, if you look at some of the videos that have been doing the rounds on social media, I'm not sure some of those children are still at the stage where you can say, hey little Johnny, hey little Jamie, how was your day at school? What was the best part of your day? And I think, and I mean, I'm no professional as far as this kind of thing is concerned, but there's been a huge debate about whether or not some of these people display sociopathic behavior, are born that way, or if it's environmental factors that are heavily, the heavier influence, if you will. There are studies that show that some people have a genetic predisposition for this kind of behavior. So if all our policies are around making sure that even the perpetrator is as protected as much as the victim, I'm not sure we're solving the problem. What's your view? What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. A chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Natasha in Florida. Natasha, what's today's answer, please?
1968.
1968. Natasha, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
I'm a member of
Outsurance. Member of Outsurance. Look at you. Well, congratulations. 1,000 Rand is coming your way. All thanks to 702 and Outsurance. There you have it. 1968 is Natasha's answer. What's the question? Call us if you know. Notable 1-883-0702.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, I was outraged at the weekend. I think I may have told you this a little earlier on. I was on Saturday, I think it was. I had seen visuals, because there I was lying flat on my back as my back had given out. And I'd seen part of the Australia Proteas women's game at the World Cup. And when I, after waking up after some time, I tried to look at my phone to see what the latest score would be. And I Googled South Africa versus Australia, as you might, right? If there's a current game on during a World Cup, you know what it showed me? It showed me men's games from 3 months ago.
Yeah.
It wouldn't show me the live action that was on the go at a World Cup on that day. And that tells you we've got to do more to support women's sports.
Definitely.
If nothing else.
Definitely. Couldn't agree more. And how phenomenal the Proteas women are being. I mean,
right?
they're just so sensational. They're through to the Cricket World Cup final on Sunday, where they'll play either Australia or India. South Africa got their revenge. They thrashed England by 125 runs. Captain Laura Volfart scored 169. That's the highest score at this World Cup. Brits made 45. Marzan made 42 and took 5 wickets, and was full of praise for Volfart and Brits.
Just looking at the stats of this ground and how it's been going this World Cup, I feel like they probably felt like they were going to roll us over, like we did in the first game against them. But I feel like our 2 openers set it up beautifully for us to come in and just play our natural game.
Liverpool lost to Crystal Palace 3-0 at Anfield and are out of the Carabao Cup. Liverpool coach Arne Slot rested his top players and started 3 teenagers, which he doesn't regret.
I saw there a team that maybe struggled with playing 3 games in 7 days. Again, not an excuse, but to lose that game of football, which is not a complete surprise to me if I see the struggles some players have had in pre-season and players that came from different leagues. And it's a new challenge for them to play at Premier League and Champions League level 3 games in 7 days.
Palace will meet Arsenal in the quarterfinals. Arsenal beat Brighton 2-0. Chelsea beat Wolves 4-3 and plays Cardiff. Man City got a 3-1 win over Swansea. Plays Brentford, and Newcastle beat Spurs 2-0. They'll play Fulham. Back home in the Colling Knockout Cup, Moromogaland thrashing Stellenbosch 4-0 with 2 goals from Ndlodlo, and will now play Golden Arrows in the semi-finals. Orlando Pirates got Richards Bay. In rugby, there's 11 South Africans in the Barbarian side to play an All Blacks 15 this Saturday, captained by Hanro Liebenberg. In the forwards pack, Bongi Mbonambi, Asenati Ntlabakanye, Ernst van Rijn and Ruben van Heerden. Your 8-man's Evan Roos. And behind them in the Barbars pack, Rob de Preer, Bernard, Janse van Rensburg, Warnekok and Leolin Zas. And the Sharks have confirmed John Plumtree will step down as head coach at the end of the season by mutual agreement. Plumtree will transition into a mentoring and advisory position. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. There's a crash near the waterfall area. Amma, what's going on?
That's correct, Bongani. It's on the N1 South before the Baklu interchange. Delays coming out of Islandale Road. There's also queuing traffic, in fact, bumper-to-bumper delays between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. That's due to roadworks in the Kelvin area. So routes around the Baklu this morning are heavily backed up due to different scenes. If you are traveling on the Mike 1 north towards Sandton, do expect about a 10-minute hold-up between the Kilani Bends and Greyston Drive. That's due to peak time delays there. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North. This is between Beyazodia Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive due to peak time delays. All updates coming out. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You could spend 10 minutes trying to fix the office printer, or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For her 2025 Hyundai Exter, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month. And for her 2024 Haval H6 4x4, 50-year-old Priya pays just 1,178 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question? The answer is 1968. Let's go to the lines and let's have, is it Petros on the line from Midrand? Petros, what's the question?
In which year did Marvin Gaye's I Headed to the Grapevine reach the top of the chart in the US?
Yes, indeed, 1968. It's still the best-selling version of that song. There have been a couple of others, including one by Gladys Knight and the Pips, but the definitive version is Marvin Gaye's I Heard It Through the Grapevine. Top of the charts, 1968. Congratulations, Petros. 2,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. Andy knows a good deal when he sees it. With Outsurance, he now pays only 1,083 Rand a month for his 2024 Ford Ranger. And after a few minutes on the phone, Outsurance gave 48-year-old Felicity a mind-blowing premium of just 836 Rand a month for her 2020 Hyundai Tuscan. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142 today. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Clemens Manyatela.
Part of the 702 family.
I'm passionate about a lot of things. I think I'm passionate about social justice, which is why I have come to do the kind of job that I do as a journalist. I'm passionate about accountability. I host the Clement Manyatela show on Radio 702. It's between 9 and 12 midday. It is a show about everything. 702 land is vast, so don't think about it as Gauteng. acknowledge when they're wrong. My favorite movie is Salt, because I'm obsessed with Angelina Jolie.
Clement Mangatela, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 midday.
On 702, let's walk the talk.
It's time to hit the streets and show what you're made of. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run, flavored by Nando's, is on Saturday, 8 November at 5. This one's pure city magic, reimagined and revitalized through Josie My Josie. You can choose 5K for fun, 10K for bragging rights. You're not ready? Haven't you sprinted for a taxi or dodged potholes or climbed stairs when the power's out? Come on, you're trained. It's easy to get there via the Gautrain train to Park Station, then a free Plaza train to Ellis Park. Lace up shop and enter now at racepass.com.
You could do something first and still be doing it wrong. What hurts is sprinting but never making it to the finish line. Quit going in the wrong direction, because with Sunny Sixt, you can rent here and globally. Other car rental companies only have a vision to try harder. We actually deliver. While they leave you feeling blue, our budget and vibe match yours. For a tailored service offering premium at every stage, book premium car rental excellence with Sunny Sixt.
Coming up, your chance to win up to 30,000 Rand in cash. So what you got to do is WhatsApp hashtag ABSA Swiper Rewards. Do so now to 067 384 0022. That's 067 384 0022. We could be calling you back to play the ABSA Swiper Vault. ABSA reward members that are active get an extra 5,000 Rand in cash and are automatically entered into that draw for a brand new J Crew J5 Vortex. Plus, you'll get a 3 months premium car insurance from ABSA Insurance on 702. Your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
At Auto in General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto in General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against